patterns of each child based on real-time quizzes, revisions, and intervention response. DSN AI EdTech solution is tailored for feature phones and uses predictive analytics and recommendation engine to deliver customized learning that addresses the unique needs of each learner. Check out how AI-powered adaptive learning works with interactive SMS learning for learners without smartphones and limited access to the internet. Students participate in our adaptive learning by sending "Learn" to a special code via SMS. This is Emeka participating in our Learn at Home adaptive learning with his student ID 1567. This is Halima participating in our Learn at Home adaptive learning with her student ID 1457. All the students might be learning the same topic, but each of them will follow a unique path to master the concept. Emeka and Halima are taking the same learning path in English to master parts of speech. The learning content are delivered based on how Emeka and Halima accurately respond to the SMS quiz. If a learner masters the concept faster, a more advanced topic is shared with an evaluation quiz. However, if a learner fails to answer the quiz correctly, simpler examples and quizzes are given with more clarification to help the learner master the concept better. The two learners will have a personalized and unique knowledge graph to follow based on concept comprehension. Our adaptive AI algorithm pinpoints the strong and weak areas of each learner in order to create customized learning journeys for each learner, helping each learner navigate the concept in a way that makes learning fun, simple, and engaging. Any learner lagging behind receives even more personalized learning support to enable them gain full mastery of the concept. Every child is special and unique, so also must their learning process be distinctly personalized with or without the internet, based on the common devices that many students in rural and suburban communities have. With great personalization comes better learning outcome. Data Science Nigeria EdTech AI Adaptive Learning Engine for feature phones using SMS.
Very keen about data, and eventually getting to learn about its applications and how it can be used modern day as we are right now
within the financial space. The theme of today and the intent is for them to see, with the information that's available, how they can come up with better suggestions to make financial inclusion successful.
Microsoft, AI is not about replacing human beings, it's about enhancing human ingenuity.
The whole aim of Data Science Nigeria is to build an ecosystem for talent access, talent enrichment, and talent deployment. So raise their capacity, get them to be enriched with global best practices through mentorship and learning, and get them to be deployed in research, deployed in leading organizations, or deployed as a tech startup. So it's an end-to-end mechanism that we're.
And with the liberalization of the telecoms industry, we realized that from a country that had less than 1% tele-density, all of a sudden we were rising to 100% tele-density. And then the use of technology for financial services, or what we call mobile or digital financial services.
So these are practical applications of the things that they're able to do We know that today we're entering the fourth industrial revolution. And actually, it's been said already that data is the new oil. So if Nigeria is to repurpose itself and reposition itself in the Community of Nations and move away from being oil and gas dependent, we need to start skilling up our people. We need to understand that actually data is everything.
Today, many of the people operating are working with silo data. So Alat is trying to get its data, SMB is trying to get its data, the telcos are trying to get the data. But AI is able to help us leverage this huge asset we have to address the financial inclusion issue.
This is a live event. I confirm. And then this is where we have used the Microsoft technology. So it wants me to align my face, show my teeth. That's it. So this is the matching of work. This is the advanced facial matching.
Yeah, my personal message was somewhat of purpose when I tried to reflect as well. I got inspired by some visionary leaders in Africa.
It's been awesome. Some of the speakers that participated here today was also in yesterday's session where we talked about demystifying artificial intelligence for executives. So we had a number of executives there from corporates, and it was quite interesting.
So likely, Microsoft believes in what we're doing as a company that's committed to Nigeria's development, and they're giving us all the support to make this a reality.
The country is very much open to innovation, and you see that in a lot of improvements we've seen in terms of processes and services, and some attempts even by government to digitize payments, where, for instance, the central bank is concerned.
The big phase for Africa is how we can use technology to leapfrog to solve the problem of poverty, and how the financial system can be a critical player in that.
I think we're at a critical moment where we have these large tech innovators that are, producing these tools and frameworks and platforms that can be leveraged, and we have these innovators that are growing up with access to online courses and competition tools like Kaggle, and communities like Data Science Nigeria are really connecting the two of these worlds together and pointing them at very actionable problems and challenges.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me. Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me. Please confirm that you can hear me now. Okay. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And good afternoon once again. So today we are gathered here for one thing, to have discussion on geospatial and mobility data for health solutions in Africa. I hope you're excited because the event is packed and we have a lot in store for all of us. Okay, so I'll just run through the program of the day before I can introduce myself. So this is how the event will unfold. Okay. So we're going to have an opening speech, and then we acknowledge our stakeholders, talk about DSN and all the wonderful work we do at DSN. We will have our keynote speaker tell us about the big picture, and then we showcase the project in pictures, the project so far, what we've done and what we've achieved. And then we talk about geospatial data, how geospatial data, what format they come in and how they can be harnessed. And we talk about Meta and its privacy preserving data sets and use cases. And then we go into quiz session. So it's important you stay throughout the life cycle of this event so that you can participate in the quiz and end prizes. And then we move on to the interactive session where we engage our stakeholders. And then we proceed to announce our winners. And then we take pictures and we close. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone from wherever you're joining us from. We understand some of our participants today are joining from Kenya and Senegal and South Africa. Welcome to this workshop. My name is Chinazo Anebelondo, and I work with Data Scientist Network, and I am honored to be with you today. As you can see from my face, I'm very excited. We have planned for this for a while now, and I'm very happy that today is here, and I'm excited for all the discussions that we're going to have. We have gathered here to explore geospatial mobility approaches to solving health problems in Africa using open source and privacy preserving data from Meta, previously called Facebook. This workshop will provide a unique opportunity to learn, collaborate, and network with one another. We have exciting programs planned for the next 2 hours, like I mentioned. Next 2 hours of this event filled with informative presentations, interactive sessions, hands-on activities, and different exciting prizes to be won. We aim to equip you with the knowledge, tools, and best practices in applying geospatial mobility data to the health industry. Thank you all. Thank you all for taking the time to attend this workshop. Your presence here today is a testament to your commitment to advancing the frontiers of knowledge, skills, talent development, and solutions that address health issues that have become endemic to us in Africa. Over the next few hours, we will learn from the experts and our various stakeholders and each other. Let us make the most of this opportunity to connect, share, and grow. So let us get started and make this a productive and meaningful workshop. Thank you. And so on that note, we will, okay, so I just got a feedback that my face is not showing. Thank you. I hope you can see me well now. So all the excitement I've been showing through my facial expressions, you must have missed that. Okay, I hope it's fixed now. And
not yet, Chinazo. You might need to look through. It's still your virtual background that is showing. Eventually, you need to check your camera.
So you can't see my face?
So not at all. Because of time, let's just move to the next point on the agenda while you try to resolve that.
Hey.
You're up now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So we move to the next on the agenda, the next thing on the agenda, to acknowledge our esteemed stakeholders who have taken their time to be here. So for this event, I will be introducing my co-hosts. We'll have about 4 of us to co-host. So we want to bring different flavors and different faces to excite you as you stay with us for the 2 hours. So like I said, my name is Chinazo Anebelondo, and I work with Data Scientist Network. I am the primary project manager for this project. And so I'll be having my colleague Abel Oluwaseun. So he will be coming up next, and then he will introduce the next co-host. Thank you. Abel, please, you have the floor.
Okay. All right, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you again. And we're excited to have all our stakeholders on the call. I can see a lot of them already joining us. We have Oluwatomi Olununga from AC Health Initiative on the call already with us. And we have a number of them. We also have Oluwatosin Ile-Somin from eHealth Africa. That's the company based in Kano now. So, and then we have Saeed Soliu from DevAfric, one of great team there. So we also have him on the call, and I believe some other members of the stakeholders will also be joining us soon. And then we also have Mr. Timothy Akimurele from Equity Health Access Initiative, also on the call with us. There's a number of them already. Maybe I could just mention their name. Then probably in the course of the event, they will also confirm their presence. So we're supposed to have Dr. Kelechi Julian also from the Clinton Health Access Initiative with us. And then we'll be having Dr. Shika Nyinkabanjo from Unilag also with us. We will be having Dr. Victor Odumewa from the NITHub Unilag as well to join us on the call. We have Dr. Emmanuel Oni from the AC Health. I believe he might be joining with Oluwatomi already. Probably they are joining from the same device. We also have Adeyinka Shitu, a policy and program officer from Private Sector Health Alliance of Nigeria. And like I mentioned, Oluwatomi is already on the call with us. So these are the people that will be having on the call with us today, and some others that might eventually join us in the course of the conversation. We believe that these are great people that are doing a lot in the health and an academic space, and maybe also in other areas that we believe the data that we've been talking about, that we'll be talking about today, will also be find expression. So we look forward to a great time with everyone. Let's have a great time here today. Thank you, everyone. So we have my colleague, Anu Oluwapo Oyeniran, to introduce DSN to everyone. I know a lot of us might have heard about DSN, but I think it's time you hear from the horse's mouth. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Abel, and thank you, Chinaza, for that warm introduction. Please kindly confirm that you can hear me clearly. You can just signify inside the chat as our people respond that they can hear me. Yes, thank you very much to you. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. My name is Anu Oyeniran, as introduced by my colleague, Abel Ofini. So, and I'll be running us through the few and good things that we do at DSN. I'm just going to be talking about our commitment at DSN as the first thing to do. So our commitment in DSN is to raise 1 million artificial intelligence talent and build AI solutions that will improve the quality of life and well-being of 2 billion people in emerging markets. Over a period of time, we transitioned also to building AI solutions for mass market, which helps achieve the next thing which I'm going to be speaking to in the next slide. All of our solutions at DSN is majorly focused on the use of data and its extension in artificial intelligence to address sustainable development goals, which means that our solutions are targeted towards these 17 sustainable development goals, starting from no poverty, no hunger, good health, ranging to gender equality. I mean, just talk about it, clean water and sanitization too. We're always focused on creating solutions that would address all of these problems. Now, over a period of 6 years that we have kicked off, we have won a lot of recognitions and awards. And first of them is DSN's work being referenced and mentioned over 10,000 times in various academic papers. This is created on www.academic.edu as of May 28 last year. I've been referenced over 10,000 times. Now, I'm glad to also say to you that 2 of DSN's products, which was initiated, conceptualized, and developed by us, DSN, were selected in 2021 top Global 100 AI products by UNESCO IRCI. And the products are AI Adaptive Learning Engine and Prescribed Right. Because of time, I won't be speaking much more on that. But for more information on that, you can visit the IRCI website to read more on those products. So this is just an emblem showing that we also won that. Now, DSN is recognized as one of the top AI startup catalyst platform in Africa. And you can see DSN being ranked among all of the top companies in Africa. I mean, AI catalyst startup companies in Africa. DSN is well recognized there. Now, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, widely referred to as, or widely known as MIT, the world's foremost technology university, recognized our work in generating open data. You can see the report there. Whilst also recognition, we also received recognition in the UNESCO Science Report 2020, page 495 rather, in specific, actually showed that DSN is one of the AI startup that is promoting AI across the globe. Now, the German Institute of Labor Economics also recognized DSN as #2 center in Africa, ahead of many African universities. You can see the chart here showing that we are just ranked behind African Institute of Mathematical Sciences, AIMS, which is majorly focused on AI. So this is also showing and promoting how much DSN's work has been recognized at the global end. So if you are really glad about this, I want you to celebrate DSN in the chat room. Let's give some very nice emoji to celebrate DSN. Also, whilst proceeding on this, DSN also has won different grants, and we have fostered a lot of relationship with very good and strong academic institutions. So this is DSN being recognized, and DSN also getting to manage a grant which is funded by IRCI, Artificial Intelligence for Education Innovation Research Network in Africa, and we're partnered with Lagos State University, University of Lagos, another university in Benin Republic. So DSN also won the #1 AI learning community and solution delivery network in Africa. This was the Impact Award that we won at Deep Learning in Daba in 2019. So this is DSN receiving the award, and this we are very proud of. So we also won the best poster and won the best academic poster at the 21st edition of the Global Economic and Computation Conference. So our work was recognized based on development of shared trust to prevent poverty and promote financial inclusion, which we presented at Conference 21. Now, DSN happens to only be the only African finalist at the 2021 X Prize competition on building advanced AI algorithm for to address COVID-19. So this is one thing that we're very, very proud of. We're the only African finalist in this category. So next, please. So also, as part of the things that we do, our work, which is majorly focused on research, learning, development, has been presented at different foremost global scientific and academic AI conferences. So this is DSN's lead mentor, Dr. Lubaya Adikon, will be presenting our work at AI, where the top and the most recognized AI scholars were present. Now, some of our leading papers are below, which you can check out. You can check them out on Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and GitHub. They are publicly available, and this testifies to our work at DSN as a research organization. Now, we have presented our work, like I said, our academic research work at the highest global AI conferences. I mean, based on rigorous paired review selection processes, ranging from NeurIPS to ICML, ICLR, AAA, and deep learning in Daba. This is just a few amongst the ones we've done. And as good as we are, we've also fostered relationships with quite a lot of strategic partners. I mean, AI groups, social good AI groups, platforms, and events. We have some of them listed here. We have Zindi, Black in AI, Machine Intelligence Institute of Africa, Vodan Africa, DataCon Africa, amongst others. Whilst we've also delivered a lot of strategic and consulting tasks for a lot of global organizations, such as Mastercard Foundation, University College London, the World Bank, Flowminder.org, AI Commons, Chevron, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Access Bank, Google, amongst others. Now, in terms of our footprint, we have our footprint across different places in Africa and outside of Africa. DSN's footprint currently, which is which is totally distributed across Nigeria, and outside Nigeria, we have a presence from Algeria to Morocco, Benin Republic, Uganda, Ethiopia, and United Kingdom. We also, like I said, we have our communities distributed across Nigeria. So just my colleague is going to be, some of my colleagues are going to be dropping the links for you to join our community or access the nearest community to you. So, this is showing our footprint across Nigeria. Now, we're also proud to be the leader in terms of putting together the foremost artificial intelligence bootcamp in Africa. So this is an example. This is just showing pictures of our AI bootcamp, which has occurred over the past few years. I'm sure you are really, really available and you're really looking forward to having this year's edition. My colleagues are also going to be dropping the link for you to participate if you really want to be. So this is also as part of what DSN does. We are also very good at being inclusive when we're doing what we're doing. So we're very passionate about the girl, when I said earlier, we are very passionate about gender equality. I mean, inclusion is one thing that we're very big on. And that's why we have a dedicated community called the DSN Ladies in AI that gets to cater for the need of ladies who are interested in joining the AI space. We also have AI Plus Club for schools. So this takes care of primary and secondary school students. My colleagues are going to be dropping the links for you to learn more about some of these communities. And we have delivered a lot of learning, social good learning. This is DSN at the Northeast IDP camp, just taking students on how to introduction to data science and how to communicate in the intelligence space. And we run different master classes also for professionals, executives. These are just pictures showing summit and executive master classes that we've done over the period of time. So I'm also going to be speaking much more on this a bit. So in the case that you have ideas, you're sure that you have an idea that can see out there, that can get to address some of these solutions. DSN is also big on startup, and that's why we have a dedicated incubation space for our AI startup. We call them AI startup. So my colleagues are going to be dropping the link for you to apply, and you can go through the process to review your ideas. And finally, I'm going to be dwelling a bit much on this. One of the products which we are very, very big and proud of to have released from DSN. So it's called Spot On. What does Spot On do? So Spot On, it's that application, it's that solution that helps every businesses to be findable, reviewable, promotable, and digitized for each transaction. So in the case that you have a business, you're not findable, you're not reviewable, and you cannot be promotable. So just what are you waiting for? Just download Spot On, which is available on the Google Play Store, and you can just be findable in a twinkle of an eye. So without taking much of our time, I'll just stop there. To learn more about us, please visit www.datasciencenigeria.org. My colleagues are going to be dropping that, and you can follow us on every of our social media platforms. We are available on LinkedIn, we're available on Twitter, we're available on Instagram and Facebook, and even on Mastodon. So follow us to learn more about us and learn the work that we're doing at TS. Thank you very much, Shinazo. Bye.
Thank you so much, Anu, for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure we've gotten some insight into what we do at DSN. We are delving into being a Pan-African, or we're already a Pan-African organization where we execute numerous projects, partnerships, we build products, and we have a large community of learners. So we will be welcoming our keynote speaker. So our keynote speaker is an award-winning analytics, artificial intelligence, business and digital innovation executive who combines business and technical skills in conceptualizing and implementing analytics, business and commercial strategy. He combines over 22 years of cognate industry experience in advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, digital innovation, strategy, marketing, and data science, serving over 30 markets in Africa. He is a hands-on data scientist, actively participating in global data science projects. He is a hands-on technology leader who was awarded the prestigious MTN Yellow Manager Award for the conceptualization of an AI-powered customer value/risk management framework. which led to multi-billion-naira revenue growth. He practices data science as a professional and also supports the development of talent in this space. He is the author of the first AI book for kids in Africa, Beginners Artificial Intelligence and Python Programming for Kids. He is recognized by the US-based Corinium Intelligence as one of the top 100 global innovators in data and analytics. He has attended the best schools across the globe, where he continues to learn global best practices. He is the founder and lead mentor at Data Scientist Network, an organization that has trained over 500,000 students via online and face-to-face channels. Please welcome to the E stage, Dr. Olubayo Adekombi, who will be giving us a keynote speech on geospatial and mobility data and global use cases. Welcome on board, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Inazo and the team. It's a great pleasure to join everyone this morning. I'm aware different people are joining from different time zones, representing different parts of the world. We're quite excited to have you join us at this very auspicious occasion. We're quite delighted that many of you have been part of our journey in the last 3 months when we started this special intervention. For this session is meant to be a keynote, and I will not be using a slide. I just want to talk and engage and share my opinion and perspective on the next frontier for us as a continent in how we find the right data to advance the cause of humanity, especially as it relates to the use of data for health in Africa on a larger scale. Now, as many of you may know, the whole concept of geospatial, just as it sounds, is a portmanteau of 2 words: geo from geography, spatial from space. We understand that if we are able to find the intersection between geography, which speaks to in a human behavioral context of where we live, and the opportunity that spatial insight can give to us, we can better understand people, their places, their practices, their progression, much more better. And that is why the whole concept of geospatial and mobility speaks to our understanding of people, our understanding of places, our understanding of their practices, and of course, our understanding of their progress. Progress means how we move from one place to another, how we build new infrastructure, how we, issue of deforestation, carbon footprint, and so many things that we do as we progress, advancing our community, creating new locations and all that. As we do all of this, we leave our footprints everywhere we go, such that we can say that each of us, we are where we go to, because we all leave our footprints where we go. And of course, we pick the character, the nature of wherever we go. And that is why when it comes to the issue of health, geospatial and mobility data gives us a very robust insight to understand the context of people, where they are, what they are doing, and the peculiar insights in each of those coordinates, and how they help us to predict, anticipate, plan, and intervene whenever there's a health crisis. Now, speaking on the reason why this is a critical importance for us as a continent, you all agree with me that in Africa, there are a lot of problems that we have. But unfortunately, the resources are limited. We're called capacity constrained, low resource continent. Added to that is the growing brain drain, where best of our talents are leaving the continent. And worst of it is the fact that there are no data that can support the planning, the design, deployment, solution, and evaluation of various health interventions. Just imagine the problem we faced during COVID-19. To evaluate the success of lockdown, to understand where people were moving to, tracing was quite difficult because there are no systems, there are no solutions, there are no platforms. existing that could support such high-scale intervention that were required at a national level to support the well-being of the people. And this is the reason why we're extremely excited by the opportunity provided us by Meta, formerly called Facebook, to leverage different types of data set within its purview to build the capacity of young researchers and practitioners in Africa on how to use pattern of mobility, movement, migrations of people to understand health problems, design health intervention, and understand health issues in a more holistic manner. As many of you will always say, in Africa, there are no data. But I'm glad to tell you that in recent times, we have discovered that there are proxy data, not necessarily the main data, but they are called proxy data, which can give us robust indicative insight, and therefore they can be applied to solve specific problems on the continent. And when I'm talking about this kind of data, they are data that are anonymized, they are de-identified, and they are data that carry high level of privacy preservation. What it means is that it does not have the name of people, their address, their home, but it gives us an aggregated view of where certain health issues might be most prevalent because of certain other indicators that are closely linked to that particular coordinate. In that regard, we have seen the possibilities provided by data like satellite imageries. These are data from the sky that gives us an idea of how settlements are clustered, how roads are designed, so I can understand the distance between settlement and the nearest hospital. And that I can use that to predict the closest road for pregnant women to move from their home to the hospital, which of course can support how to plan, primary health intervention. And of course, that can reduce, high cases of infant mortality, because we're able to understand how communities are configured. The second thing about that is the fact that we're able to understand emerging communities that we may not even know, what we always call the missed settlement, especially when it comes to things like routine immunization. There are a lot of missed settlement because we only work with data set that is already recorded. We are not aware of emerging settlement or the settlement or the group of people that we call the migrant and the mobile population, the MMPs. But through the use of satellite images, which takes the image of communities from the sky on a regular basis, what we call spatio-temporal, we understand the changes in spatial configuration of a location over different time series. So what that means is that if I take a picture of an area like Ekpe, maybe in Lagos, Nigeria, in August 2022, and I take the same picture in October 2022, I will be able to see new community using some aggregated synthesis of computer vision that are geo-coordinated or geo-referenced. So therefore, we're able to identify new communities that are emerging, and of course, health intervention can be more holistic. The second one is mobility data, how people are moving from one location to another. For those who are familiar with most African countries, from Dakar to Nairobi to Johannesburg or Cape Town or Lagos, Nigeria, we understand that people who work in capital city spends about 1, 2, 3, 4 hours to travel from different settlements to the capital city to work because of the unique distribution of workplaces. And we understand that as people move, they carry their situations, their circumstances, whether they are coughing, they are sneezing, as they are moving, they are dropping their droplets, as they go. So if I want to track how disease is spreading or how a disease has propensity or probability or the pattern by which a disease will spread, I can use the pattern of migration, pattern of mobility, either on a seasonal mobility, hourly mobility, daily mobility to understand that. And what are the data set that we have? There's a data from mobile phone network called Call Data Record, CDR. This gives us an idea of the closest base station to where you make calls. And because these base stations are geo-referenced, so there are coordinates, I can understand where you made your first call in the day and your last call in the day, your call within the day, and I can understand the distance you have traveled based on the farthest distance between the two base stations where your originating and terminating calls came from. Those are amazing possibilities. And in addition to that is the Meta, that's the Facebook data, which gives us insight based on the number of people who are on Facebook. As many of you may know, Facebook collects location data, but of course, these data are anonymized. They are not personalized, and they are de-identified. So these data are also very useful. And that's the data that Facebook or Meta has made available to the researcher community to use to understand connectedness between people, to understand people that are close together, to understand contiguity, patterns of interconnectedness of our society in terms of who goes where or where people are co-located. So we can understand how two people are seen together. So if there is a problem with person A, I can predict who is likely going to pick the problem. These are amazing possibilities that this new kind of data set are providing for our continent, even though we're extremely data constrained. So you agree with me that even while we say there are no data, yet there are proxy data that we can adapt, repurpose to serve peculiar nuances and the gaps that we have seen on our continent. The third categories of data are called point of interest data, POI. These are data that provide coordinates of places that are critical to social configuration, whether in terms of socioeconomics or health service delivery. Today we have data like GRI3 data that has been funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to give us the coordinate of all the schools, all the hospitals, all the major offices across Nigeria. So if I need to do a major health intervention, I can use that kind of data. It gives data like fire stations, ambulance hotspots, and all that. What that does for me is that I can understand social convergence, hotspot, areas of likely incidence of any communicable diseases faster and easier. And if I need to plan best routes to hospital, I can also optimize or design things like what we call salesman algorithm that tells us the best and the fastest route to anywhere you are going, such that if you want to do things like polio immunization, routine immunization, you know how to plan effectively from one household to another, such that you are able to cover the largest community of households within a very short period of time. And of course, the fourth categories of data are context data, crowdsourced data, where we use local people, we use application to collect data. And that's one of the things we do so well through our massive network at DSN, formerly called Data Science Nigeria, now called Data Scientist Network, where we're able to use people to collect on-spot data across Nigeria. For example, if I want to understand the price of a malaria drug across Nigeria today, I just need to send it on any of our applications. Spot On, Check For Me, Data Crowd, and our massive network of data collectors can go to the nearest pharmacy or PPMV. Those are what we call chemists. That is patent and proprietary medicine vendors. And they can get the price, and as they're uploading the price, we're also taking the coordinate. So if I want to know the centers that have family planning, I can take those data points. So with all these diverse data sources that we have, you all agree with me that we are able to use this proxy data to a large extent to understand, map, design, intervene on critical issues as far as health intervention or solution designs are concerned in Africa. And if we do this, we're going to improve the quality of life. We're going to make life expectancy better. And of course, we're going to reduce things like infant mortality, how disease spread, because we have better epidemiological modeling, better understanding of our social construction, and of course, how various data points interlock, intersect to understand social issues even better. Ladies and gentlemen, particularly those who have been part of the hackathon, which was an effort to make this data set available through our strategic partnership with Facebook, now called Meta, to stimulate learning among young Africans on how we can use this data to build several use cases that can help us intervene in health. For all those who have participated, I salute your boldness, I salute your courage, I salute your demonstration of excellence. And for those who did not participate, I know you will have wanted to. And that is why, beyond today, the competition or the learning will continue. So I celebrate all the people who have participated from South Africa, from Senegal, from Kenya, and from Nigeria. I'm glad to tell you that all the learning materials have been collated and compiled, and they are available on our YouTube page, where the learning can continue. But most importantly, all this learning will also be documented together, and we're going to be releasing a white paper in the next few months that brings all this learning together, so that with so much knowledge or so much power that we have from geospatial and mobility data, we can address a lot of health problems in our continent. Today at this session, I believe we have a lot of medical experts who will broaden our understanding and help us to also situate the possibilities of geospatial and mobility data within the current reality in our environment, and how we can scale up possibilities. So I want to encourage you to open up your mind and to learn, and let us use data to advance the well-being of Africa. And this is consistent with our vision at DSN, which is to raise 1 million artificial intelligence talent and to build artificial intelligence solutions that can enhance the quality of lives of people in emerging markets. And that's why, like my colleague has said, we're very proud of some of our products that have already won many awards. One of such products is two of our products that were recognized by UNESCO as two of the top 100 products that are solving social problems in the world. We're committed to this. For us, it's not just about coding, it's about applying coding to solving problems. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy today, learn, connect with people, and let's use data, geospatial and mobility data, to make Africa better and improve the quality of lives of people through effective healthcare design, delivery, and intervention program. So once again, you're welcome, and have a fantastic time with us this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayo, for that very insightful session. I hope we learned a thing or two. There is no limit to what we can do with data. As an organization, we stand on data to build products, to build partnerships, and to build massive community. And for this project, we've seen use cases where we've used meta-mobility data and geospatial data to build interesting solutions. And just like Dr. mentioned, this has been applied, so it's not new. There is no limit to what we can do with data. So still stick around, because we still have more interesting things to show you. And so moving on, okay, so now we will briefly explain the whole project in pictures. This project didn't start today. We've had to, we started this journey since November. So we started this journey in November, where we created awareness, gathered community of learners, and inspired them to learn. A lot of the learners were new to the whole world of geospatial analytics and mobility data. So, we encouraged them, and this took place in 4 countries: Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, and South Africa. So it's really big. So we gathered people, and so we started with a masterclass kickoff, where we explained what we want to achieve with this project, that we want to encourage people to learn, to build capacity, to build local talent who can build these solutions. We don't need to travel far to get our solutions. We need people who have this first-hand experience in these local communities to be able to build solution in health as it borders their community. And so we moved on to have 3 weeks training. So we taught our learners how to work with geospatial data, how to analyze it, how to use it in building solutions, and even the meta-mobility data. So these classes were done in English and in French because some of our participants are French speakers. And so we moved on to kickstart the hackathon. So for that, we got experts who taught our learners best practices in building hackathon solutions. And with that, our participants, formed teams, some worked as individuals to build interesting solutions using geospatial data and meta-mobility data to build solutions within their community. Okay, and so that takes us to, and after the hackathon, we kickstarted the workshop. So this took place in the different countries, in Senegal, in Kenya, and now in Nigeria. It's quite unfortunate, not unfortunate, that we are having this event as a virtual event. It was pre-planned to be a hybrid, physical and virtual, but due to the unique economic situation that we have found ourselves in Nigeria and the political scene at the moment. So, and because we have our participants and attendees safety in mind, we decided to move it fully virtual. Okay, that being said, these are pictures from our Senegal workshop because it was physical. And then we had our hackathon winners. We unveiled our hackathon winners. They told us what inspired them to build their solution, what they did differently, and we generally had a discussion around application of geospatial and mobility data in health specifically. And so these are pictures from our Kenya workshop. We had massive turnout again as usual. We spoke about geospatial and mobility data. We had winners, and then they intimated us on, what inspired them to build their solutions. And now we are in Nigeria. So we are having our Nigerian arm of the workshop. So these are some of the interesting prizes that will be won today. So we'll be giving out jotters, AI books. We'll be certifying our participants, and then there'll be cash prizes for the winners. So we'll be unveiling our winners. They know themselves, but they don't know their position. So that's one of the exciting reveal we are going to be doing. So you need to stick around till then. And then they'll also be telling us about what inspired them to build their solutions so that we can learn. Okay. And now I'll be inviting my colleague and co-host, Worry Usain Obong. So he'll be briefly teaching us about geospatial data and meta-mobility data sets. This is very interesting because there will be quiz after this and there'll be prizes to be won. So it's very important that you pay attention and pick points so that you'll be able to participate in the quiz and win prizes. And without further ado, I'll be inviting my colleague and co-host, Worry, to take the stage. Worry, you are welcome on the stage.
Hello, Chinazo. Thank you for the warm welcome. Please, can you confirm you can all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
And you can see my screen?
Yes, too loud.
Okay, so thank you, Chinazo, once again for the warm welcome. I'm excited to join this unique section. So my goal today is to give you an overview of geospatial data and also a preview of privacy protecting data for Meta and various use cases this data can be applied in solving social good problems in Africa. So first, in an overview, is a recap of spatial data and GIS. So spatial data or spatial, which has to do with space, is embedded in the concept of GIS, also known as Geographical Information System. In simple form, this system is more concerned in management, analysis of all types of data that has to do with location, which our lead mentor already spoke in his opening keynote speech. And also spatial data are data that have location, which means that this location can be referenced to any point or place on Earth. So one example of spatial data can be seen in your Google map, where you used to check for business places on the map and also seek direction. Another example is in ride-hailing apps used in Bolt or Uber, where you want to use in navigating to different places. Now, it's important to note that this information, such as this, can be used to discover patterns and understand activities and practices unique to a location that can be used for sustainable development, such as population estimation, disease tracking, and immunization uptake, and many other applications for better decision making. And now this brings us to the theoretical knowledge of spatial data. Now, at the top of spatial data is vector data. So vector data on the basic consists of discrete geometric with X and Y coordinates. And these data are always very, very efficient in representing physical locations of the Earth. So we have three types of vector data. So we have the point data, as you can see on my screen, which is very good in representing distinct data points, such as schools, buildings, trees, hospitals. And another type of data is the line that consists of interconnected points. So we have different points data interconnected together to form a line. And a simple application is used to represent entities on the Earth, such as rivers and roads. And finally, on the vector data, we have polygon, which is formed whereby the first point from a line meets the last point from the line to form a closed shape, more like what you have in an admin boundary of a state, in a county, or in a local government. Now, apart from vector data, we have another data called raster data, which consists of matrix of pixels. It's very similar to your normal images like this, but with inclusion of a georeferenced location or georeference point for each pixel. So each pixels from your raster data are being georeferenced, or it has a point on it. So this type of data is very, very efficient to store continuous model on the Earth, like population or climate data. In addition, it's mostly used as a base map in Google Map, or you have in Microsoft Bing, or what you have in OpenStreetMap. And a perfect example is when you use your mobile phone, you can also look at the satellite view of streets on your Google Map. So those are examples of satellite imagery. Now, with this type of knowledge, we now move further to Meta's data for good, also called Meta's private preserving data. Now, I'll give you a concept about this data. Now, using the concept called differential privacy, Facebook, which is currently known as Meta, I've been able to anonymize location data from different people by adding random noise and also creating an aggregation of this data, so anybody can use this data to be able to understand pattern and activity in a location. So this data has been openly given to the public, and it's all accessible to the public. So people like researchers, government agency, or NGO can use data to build solutions that can solve problems for social good. So as Alex, in one of our last questions, Alex Pompey, which is data for good managers at Facebook in our section last month. So it saved us different meals or different breakfasts different meals on metadata. So what I'm going to be doing in this section is I'm going to be warming this meal for you and saving it back to you in this section, giving you a preview of it. So the first part on metadata is what we call the population data. It's also called high resolution population density data. So these are raster data available at 30-meter resolution, which means that this data could estimate the number of people living in a location at 30 meters. So that's very, very minute, and it looks very, very precise. So this can be used. This was created using machine learning computer vision algorithm, such as building footprint from satellite imagery to estimate this number of locations. Now, the next part on Meta's data for good is social connection. So a very important concept in this data is what we call social connectedness index. So this type of data allows you to understand the connection between different locations. So for example, we have information like users for us to know, okay, what's the connection, or what area in US or what county or state in US are most people in Nigerians more connected to, or what place in Africa are more people in Nigeria more connected to. Like on the screen, you can see connectedness like Niger and Benin Republic, sorry. So this information can help us to understand spread of disease internationally between locations, and it has also been used as a very, very strong proxy to understand the spread of COVID-19 disease. Then the next data on our list is the economic and poverty data. So normally, even providing solutions for health is very, very crucial for you to understand the standard of living to the benefactors. So this brings us to the relative wealth index that was created by the Facebook, that created by Meta, formerly known as Facebook. So they created this wealth index to act as a proxy to poverty. So this data, they were able to estimate was the poverty level of people living at 2.4 kilometer boundary. So they used information such as Facebook connectivity, number of Android users in that location, and also Wi-Fi access in that location. So it's important to note that this data has also been validated across local and global census data that covers household poverty. So it's near accurate and efficient for research use case and also practical application. So the next item on our list has to do with mobility data or movement data. So this data describes people's movement and generates insight from activities of users on Facebook to understand travel pattern, movement range between different administrative boundaries. Now, remember that this data are aggregated at different admin boundaries. One example in this area is understanding of displacement, where mobility data is used to understand immigration after a crisis and also patterns shown in returning to the original location. So where are people going to after a crisis and how long does it take for them to recover or to go back to that location? So for example, you can know where flood victims are going to during flood incidents, and it also gives you idea on how you should cater for them at this new location where they are going to, in case there's an overwhelming on the facilities in the place they are going to. Now, finally, on our list has to do with connectivity. So the connectivity, the overview of it has to deal with electric power distribution. So Facebook has provides data using people's connection. When you charge your phone, there's this thing so that Facebook will know that, okay, your phone is connected. So it uses that idea to create data on electric power distribution that can be used for to plan electrification. It can also use case, you can use it for vaccine campaign or other immunization development project to know which area have more electric power, where you can also stack more vaccine for immunization distribution. So these are the various platforms that you can access this Facebook data from. So the first platform you can in this is the home data. So we have the home data, humanitarian data exchange. And also, we also have some of the data on our platform that's on our group in African Job Portal, which is from S3. So this is a platform we used for learning and training during our practical section, during a 3-week training section in English and also in French. So another place you can also access data is in AWS Open Data Registry. So you can see most of this data at this platform. The next action is on the use case of this data. Now we have knowledge about spatial data. Let's look at the various use cases of this data. So looking at social good use case, spatial data can be applied across different areas of SDG, from poverty to sustainable city or sustainable community, and also idea of also health and goodwill. So for hackathon and our workshop, we were more focused on using spatial data, that's Facebook and also Facebook data in the health sector, which is SDG 3, to understand disease pattern, understand location mapping of hospitals and people movement, and also accessibility to these health facilities. So more use case on this can be found in areas in waste management for effective planning. So for you to understand how you want to reduce waste in a society, which is also a factor to health issues in different locations. Then we also have other use cases where this data can be used like air pollution control. So where people are more gathered in, you tend to have more pollution. Then we also have things like disease emergency response management, which I've also mentioned, like in the displacement map, to know where people are going to, or where you're having, what's the number of people that have been affected by an area in a flood or during a disaster, so you can plan to cater for these people's needs. Then we also have relief fund allocation. These also are aspects of emergency management. Then we also have mental health state. So this is also another health state. You can also look to understand how people's health states are using data of their movement. Then you can also another use cases also in disease outbreak planning. So you understand with people's connectedness or connectivity, you can understand where would the next outbreak be when you see a particular cluster of disease in a particular location. So this has been used, one of the research has been used in this, in understanding spread of COVID-19 during different counties in the US. Then we also use data also for routine immunization, which I mentioned, data like the electrification data planning can understand where we have more power and good power. So you can plan for vaccination and during immunization process. So with this knowledge, I believe that everyone can use this data to build more knowledge and solve problems like what our participants did during the hackathon. So thank you all for listening to this section, and have a nice day. So over to you, Chinazo.
Thank you so very much, Wari. I hope we were attentive. For those of us who are interested in the quiz, I hope we were attentive, and most importantly, that we learned something. You know, these are issues that bother us, especially when it comes to our immediate environment. We don't need, it's not rocket science. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to look around our community and, you know, see how we can use data, geospatial and meta-mobility data, to build solutions that for health challenges that affect us. Okay, so we will now move on to quiz. The next on our agenda now is quiz. So we'll be doing fastest finger. Okay, trying to share my screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen. And can someone confirm my screen is up?
Yeah, we can see your screen, Chinazo.
Okay, thank you, Warren. Okay, this is the exciting moment we are waiting for. So are we ready? So what we're going to do is we're going to drop questions from what Warren has shared with us and a bit from what our keynote speaker shared with us. So we'll give options. When you see the quiz on your screen, you need to drop the option that is the correct answer in the chat window. So someone will also drop the question in the chat window. So the fastest correct answer will pick as the winner of the quiz. And so the prize for our quiz are AI books. So after this session, we'll discuss modalities on how to get the prizes across to you. Okay, so without further ado, you will see the next question on your screen now. So it says, which of these are types of spatial data? We have A, vector and graphics, B, vector and pixel, C, vector and raster, and D, line and raster. So we just give you a few seconds. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have some answers already. Okay, so we'll move to the next one. So it says, what does GIS stand for? A, Geographic Information System, B, Geographic Infographic System, C, Geospatial Information System, and D, Geography Intelligence System. Okay, let's see. Okay, so to avoid confusion, because we need to know which answer you're replying to when you're saying A, B, C, D. So I think what I'll do is, before you drop your question, when you see the next question, you wait until the question is dropped in the chat window so that you know you are responding to that particular question, just to avoid confusion. So now we have a lot of A, C, A, D, A, so we don't know what you're replying to. So please, any response that does not come after we've dropped the question in the comment chat, will be taken as you're responding to the previous question. Okay. So that being said, we move to so can I have someone drop this question now in the chat window so that we have people respond to it, so we can clear that out. Bukumi, are you on the call? Okay, I'm trying to see if the question has been dropped in the chat window. Oh, okay, great. So yes, so let's move to the next one. Okay, which country borders Nigeria to the south? A, Niger, B, Mali, C, Gulf of Guinea, and D, Kenya. So we need to wait till the question is dropped so that we respond to the question. Okay, great. All right, we have quite some interesting responses. Okay, we move to the next question. So it says, which of these is not part of the categories of meta data for good data sets that was discussed by my colleague, Worry? A, social connectedness index, B, high resolution population density, C, movement range, and D, triangulated data. All right, nice. I can see you were all listening. Interesting. Okay, so I believe we have our winners. So we move to the next. So this one says, which of the following cannot be represented by line vector data? So if you're paying attention when Worry was giving his speech on geospatial data, this should be an easy question for you. So it says A, railways, B, health facilities, C, rivers, D, roads. Okay, right, so we have our responses. So we move on to the next question. So we have, what is the website to download metadata for good data? So you need to know the right formation of the website. So basically it's the same thing, just the way, the format that is written. dataforgood.facebook.com, dataforgood.meta.com, dataforgood.facebook.com, dataforgood.meta.com. So you need to pick the right format. I can see some people are just trying their luck. They're just dropping any option. It's interesting to see. Okay, so we move on to the last. Is it the last one? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So this is actually the last question. Thank you so much for participating, and we hope you enjoyed this quiz session. Okay, moving on, I will invite my colleague, Abel Oluwaseun-Ofini, to anchor the session where we have discussions from stakeholders present on how we can improve our health sector using geospatial and mobility data. Abel, you're welcome on board.
All right, thank you. And it's been a pleasure being on the call. The session has been interesting, and I believe everyone is kind of enjoying the session based on the feedback we're getting, and then the level of interaction we're also getting on the chat. All right, so we're moving to the engagements with our stakeholders. So we have a few questions actually, and then I believe there are some of things that are actually snowballed from the discussions and from the keynotes, from some of the use cases that we've seen. And then also some of these things are what we've put together to look at as what are some of the critical issues of health areas that we might need to kind of start seeing, looking for applications of this data. And then we believe that the conversations that have been held before these questions come must have sparked some understanding in our stakeholders, and we want to kind of just put this question forward and then see the responses and then allow the different stakeholders to interact around them. We will try as much as possible to kind of maybe mention some names.
Sorry, Abel, we
Can
can't
you hear
hear
me?
you clearly. Are you please
Oh, really? Sorry about that. But, can you hear me better now? Is it better now?
Yeah, I think it's better now. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Thanks. All right. So the first question on the screen will be going to, I'll call names. So I would like them to be granted access to speak. So I have Dr. Timothy Akimorele from EHAI. EHAI, please allow him to be able to speak. I believe you must have seen that question. Then I'll also need Dr. Shika Banjo, also from Unilag, to be able to speak regarding this question before we take on others. Then I will also need Dr. Emmanuel Oni from AC Health Initiative. So please allow the three of them to speak, and then please, you could also try to kind of spotlight them so that the, our audience could have a view of who actually is speaking. So please, this is a question for our stakeholders, and we want to hear from them. Sorry, please, are they able to speak now?
Dr. Timothy, please confirm if you are able to unmute yourself. You can drop a chat if you are not able to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm also trying that now.
Yes, I can unmute myself. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. Right. So I also have Dr. Emmanuel Iola Uni.
Abel, please, can you get your mic closer to your mouth?
It's actually close. Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's better now. Just be conscious of it.
All right, thanks. Dr. Emmanuel, can you hear us now? Oh, sorry, I just muted you again.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, so please remember to enable your video as well so that people can see your face like we requested via mail. All right. So this is the question for the three of you, and we believe a lot that has been said by our keynote speaker and some of my colleagues must have actually inspired you. And I believe you will go from that understanding of adding your own experience in the field as well to kind of provide guidance on these questions. Thank you. So the question is, in what ways can geospatial and mobility data be leveraged to address specific health challenges in Nigeria? So this is the question for it. Thank you. So you can kind of raise your hand if you want to speak. Dr. Shika. Dr. Shika, are you able to unmute? Okay.
Okay, I'm able now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, so it has been an interesting meeting. I joined from beginning and I noticed this geospatial and mobility data is interesting from what I have heard. And though I know I've been working with some data sets and health sector challenges and problems, we have not been able to use geospatial. I wanted to ask a question initially when the data science guy just finished speaking. I wanted to find out, how do we get this in, especially in the northern part of the country? Because there's a research we are working on where we want to collect to know the kind of medical attention that is given to those in the northern part of Nigeria, because we know we are trying to work on something on equitable AI, how to use AI to solve some problem in the medical sector. And we don't have data. So we are trying to generate data ourselves. So when I heard this geospatial and mobility data, it's fantastic. It's something that would have even helped us to finish our work, because that work we are doing right now, we try to collaborate with a company, and this company is even in the US, and they are trying to use their own chatbots to collect data sets for us in Nigeria. I don't know how they said they were able to collaborate with some organizations, the healthcare organizations in the northern part. But even at that, that's not giving us what we need. So when I just heard this, I said, this would have given us exactly what we needed. Now, how do we get that? We have a lot of problems we need to solve that had to do with medical sector, and that had to do with people and medical attention given to people in the less privileged part of the country. If we have this geospatial data, we will be able to solve these problems easily. This one gives us location, so that means nobody's feeding in false information. So it will give us accurate location, give us accurate mobility. Have they moved from one space to one location to another? So if we have this, so my question is, you asked me a question and I'm throwing it back. I'm sorry, but why I'm throwing it back is because we have not been able to use these data sets. We are trying to generate data ourselves, and we're not getting what we need from that data set. Right now, we are even stuck. I don't know if we're going to switch to your data, geospatial data that is available from Meta. Does Meta have anything? Does Meta have anything in the northern part of the country, please, that had to do with location? So we are trying to solve a problem that had to do with equitable AI in the northern part. How do they attend to those that need medical attention? Do they get access, or don't they get access? So my question is, can we get metadata? How do we get metadata in the northern part of the country? Because we can solve a lot. Sorry, I've taken so much of it.
Your question is noted. We're taking note of your question. So we'll kind of clarify that. Now we have ways where you can access those data. So we'll provide guidance on that in the course of this conversation. So let's hear from Dr. Timothy Akinrele. Probably has something to say regarding this question as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Abel. I mean, we're very excited to be part of this. I hope you can hear me. We're very excited to be part of this meeting, and as an organization, we have been digging our heels into using data to address health issues. So we're already thinking deep and looking at how can we, tap into this world of AI and this vast world of data, using big data to solve health problems. So when we got the invitation to be part of this, we felt, oh, this is a good opportunity for us to also learn more, perhaps share some of our thoughts, you understand, with the house. So I'll be coming from a public health perspective. I'm a public health professional and health economist. So I want to be coming from that perspective. And there are a world of areas that that geospatial mapping and mobility data can be used to help in the public health sector. I mean, a very good example was in the time of COVID-19. We saw how AI and data science was used to practically show us how COVID was spreading by the second. I mean, we could see data online on CNN and all the other major networks where you get the numbers dropping by the second. That's AI. And it shows how people people that die, people that get infected, people that recover. I mean, that's how we can help with plan. It also showed how
we are losing your voice, Dr. Timothy. Dr. Timothy, can you hear us? Okay, so I think I pick what he was trying to say. That has to do with using this kind of data to kind of manage epidemic and the
organization.
Okay, we can hear you now. We lost you for some seconds. Dr. Timothy, can you hear us now? Oh, okay, so you have the call. Okay, maybe we should.
Sorry, sorry, I lost my internet connection. Where did you guys lose me? Sorry.
So you are speaking around the COVID-19 epidemic.
Oh, sorry about that. So I've gone beyond that. Let me bring it home. I was just talking generally about, let me bring it home to what is on the table right now in terms of public health, and epidemiology. We're looking at the big communicable diseases that we're struggling with right now: HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria, and of course immunization. We're seeing a lot of diseases that we thought were done and dusted with, like diphtheria, coming back up. We've seen vaccine, what's it called? The vaccine, the polio that is due to vaccination and all of that. So where I'm going is that we can use AI to solve those problems. We can use AI to determine where are the areas. And I'm talking, when I talk of AI, I'm talking of geospatial and mobility data, specifically now, that area. How can we use it to address, how we can use it to address these questions? How can we, for example, we're implementing a project in Osun State right now, and we're already deploying geospatial mapping so that we're using people we call community resource persons, and we're putting, we're developing applications such that every home they visit, they can activate the geocoding for that home and indicate if there's any child under 5 that has not gotten the right immunization. So that information, you understand, can help Osun State government plan on where to focus their immunization days. You understand? Those are the kind of the solutions that we're looking at, such that this community resource person, they are going from home to home, discussing malaria, immunization, and upper respiratory tract infection. So we put solutions on their smartphone such that they can click on the application. It gives the exact geocoding for that home, and then it tells us if that home has any child under 5 that is not immunized. The other way we're looking at is, that's already been implemented. The other thing we're looking at is looking at HIV spread, and we know the HIV spread is spread mainly by those we call key population, and there's a special set of people, female sex workers, men who have sex with men, and people who intake drugs. Now, how can we use geospatial and mobility data to track these people so that we can target HIV interventions specifically? And they work in communities. They work in communities that we can, so that you will know that if you want to deploy pre-exposure prophylaxis drugs, you can target MSM communities and use geospatial and mobility data to locate those communities, because you can use it. You can even look at using social media interactions and harnessing data from social media and all of that to get intervention to specific places and specific people. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that when we look as an organization, how can we harness this to develop specific interventions? I'm talking about public health now, to specific groups of people and to address specific problems in the public health sector. I think I'll rest my case for now. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Sumoto. The discussion has really been interesting. You're looking at the area of vaccinations, talking about immunization, and also trying to look at how people can be rightly targeted, and then also how you can kind of track some of the interventions that that are also being implemented. So I think those are interesting perspectives that you shared. So let's quickly hear from Dr. Emmanuel Oni from AC Health.
Okay, thank you, Abel, for having me. If you can see my screen,
sure, we can hear you. I can see you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sure. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So coming from my own angle of experience in public health and international development, I would like to just be specific, like your question said, specific health challenges. While everybody has tried to emphasize the importance of geospatial mapping and mobility data in understanding patterns and precisions, particularly in epidemiology and spread of diseases, I want to just identify a few case studies that may help us appreciate this topic more. So my first case is in the possible use around neglected tropical diseases. As we speak currently, at least 120 million Nigerians are suffering from one form of NTDs or the other. And the number may increase over the years if nothing is done about it, because usually these diseases usually present late in the patient. You could be carrying the causative organism for lymphatic filariasis or onchocerciasis for long without it presenting. And usually when it begins to present, people think that it's as a result of witchcraft or something. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because in order to prevent these diseases, the federal government of Nigeria does what is called mass administration of medicines. And every year they give out drugs for free in order to prevent these NTDs in endemic regions or in endemic areas. And one of the challenges that we faced in my experience working with the FMOH on NTDs, particularly on coverage evaluation, is that there are a number of migrant communities. When I mean migrant communities, example include herders, local farmers. At least I've worked in areas in Southwest, including Ekiti State and in North Central around Kogi and Niger State. And we discovered that there are a lot of farmers that do migrate from time to time. And it's always very hard for us to track them. So I feel like, or I believe that if we're able to bring this tool into NTD's administration of medicines, we can easily understand where the migrants community are and what is their movement patterns. All right, how do they move from time to time, and how can the FMOH plan better for MAM when it's time for administration, so that we don't have the case of, we deploy team to a particular location and then we discover that they are no longer there, or majority of the migrants or the dwellers in that local community have migrated to another place because they need to go and farm somewhere else. So I believe that these over time can help us to understand how to better do this. And I believe that one of the ways this can also be useful is in research. So from time to time, we do coverage evaluation survey for entities, and we can easily attach this tool, as it were, to the questionnaires or the data collection tool, so that it's easy as we collect information on other area, we can collect information on migration as well. The second example I want to give is like the previous speaker spoke about on HIV. Yeah. So last year, we were working on upscaling HIV interventions for AYPs, adolescent and young persons. And one thing that we did was to map the location of service providers across 3 states, Rivers State, Lagos State, and Anambra State. And we were able to present this, on the map, as it were. And so that when we go for community outreaches, where we have to distribute, things like HIV self-testing kits, carry out risk assessments to determine people that are eligible for PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. We're able to target communities where these SPs are located, so that we intensify outreaches in this community as a way of, bringing traffic for those service providers. So I believe that if we're able to scale this up across Nigeria and can identify service providers across all geopolitical zones in Nigeria, it's more easy for a young person, maybe people of key population, for example, MSMs or FSWs, to identify service providers that can give them certain, products or deliver certain services to them without really coming out or being identified in the open. So these are just like 2 examples that I can speak of in NTDs, and then in scaling up HIV prevention tools or intervention. And the question I would like to ask you, Abel, as a way of rounding up, is while you were being specific about mobility data from Meta, the question is, when we look at the distribution of Nigerian demography across settlements, urban, regional, that kind of classification, and the current level of internet penetration and use of social media, are you sure that this data is able to give us guidance on precision in rural areas? I mean, specifically, if we have the data you're talking about and we have to use it in public health programming or in international development, maybe to improve financial inclusion for women in rural areas, are you sure that we can use this metadata to deepen intervention for people that live in rural area and maybe marginalized when it comes to use of social media, basically? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I think that's interesting. So you've talked about the possibility of application for addressing neglected tropical diseases I mean, just a way to kind of mitigate the potential spread. So that was well noted. And then you mentioned something around the spread and mass administration. Sorry, you talked about the mass administration of vaccine, which is the government is currently championing, which is a great move. And then you talked about the potential application in tracking nomads and then, you know, the migrant communities, which some of the things that our keynote speaker also mentioned. And then I believe while we're also talking about some of the use cases, we also mentioned something around that. I think those are interesting areas that we noted. And then in evaluation or in coverage evaluation survey to track the migrant also, those are interesting perspectives. Thanks a lot. The question you raised, which has to do with the possibility of being able to get this data at the local level. And I can assure you today that this data is now, if you add up things around satellite imagery, you will understand that it goes beyond just the the urban centers. So the data the meta mobility data is able to cover as much length as possible. Just the same way you could have the satellite imagery of different localities, even at street level, and even that goes to the hyperlocal levels. So I believe what you requested is actually available. So we will also extend the links through which you could access some of this data. And then there are a lot of applications that we'll also be sharing with you, different use cases. And interestingly, we have a lot of conversation ongoing on the chat in response to this question, which I would like to just pick just one before we take the next question, and then I'll bring down the next set of stakeholders that will be handling that part. I'll just take two of the responses that we have. So someone said, this can also be useful in matching health issues to solution centers, talking about health facilities in a way that we can leverage on the geospatial information to ascertain the main source of the epidemic and quickly offer solution to disallow spread to nearest locations. I think that has to do with what Mr. Timothy and then Mr. Emmanuel has also spoken to. So these are interesting perspectives. And someone also mentioned that we would have been able to quickly arrest. Okay, sorry. Okay, so firstly, we should be sure that AI is the best solution for the problem, because for some problem, we need to get people to be aware that, okay, no, I think that one is just trying to share. It's like, for me, geospatial mobility is very important and vital to address public health issues. Thanks so much. I saw something from Dr. Okonkwo recently. I think it was, okay, yeah. He said the concept can be used in optimization of health finances, resources, and deployed to where it will do the most good. Those are interesting perspectives. Thanks a lot, Dr. Okonkwo from Enugu. So he joined us from from Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy from Enugu. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Okay, so the next question, if I may have it on screen quickly, please. Okay, let me share from my side. It might take time for them to share from the area. Okay, all right. So I will just project my screen up. Sorry about this. Okay, so the next question is this. If you can see my screen, please. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, Abel.
All right, thank you. So this question has to do with, we've talked about the area of applications, we've mentioned things, the possibilities within the space. Now we want to also look at what could be the challenges that we might encounter in the implementation of this, the mobility data, and then AI itself in the area of health. So we just want to be sure what are potential challenges that we could encounter, and what strategies can be implemented to mitigate some of these challenges in building edge solutions in Nigeria. Replace a note, Nigeria in perspective. All right, I will be having I think I will have about 4 people to speak on this, and please, in just 1 minute, please, let's just be fast with this. Just strike home the point and let's hear it from you. All right, so I will need someone from, I will need Said from Dev Africa. I want to be sure that it's still on the call, please. Dev Africa, please, you see Said, maybe I'll need to kind of unmute, so he's currently on the call. All right, so Said is off the call. So I will need to pick the next person now. So I will need Faith. I don't know if Faith is on the call. Faith from EHAI is a data analytics officer from EHAI. Is Faith on the call with us? Faith Folorunsho. I know, people that deals with data, with people that deal with data, we know some of those challenges that we might come in contact with. We are different. All right, thanks. So Faith, I believe you can unmute now. So I will need Faith from EHAI, and then also, excuse me, please. Okay, so I will need Faith from EHAI, and then Tommy from AC. Oluwatomi Deborah from AC, and we also need okay, so I will need, okay, let's start with them. I might bring in additional people to the call because I'm trying to be sure that we have most of these people on the call. All right, so I will need those people to speak to this. Can you speak now?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. This is Folorunsho Faith.
Yeah,
yes, from EHAI.
All right.
Yes. Sorry, I was not on seat. I went to the restroom. So if I can get the question correctly, you're asking what are the possible.
Can you see your screen?
Yes, okay. Okay, could be encountered.
So what possible, so let me read that. So what possible challenges could be encountered during the implementation of geospatial mobility data, the application of geospatial mobility data in the health sectors, and then what are the strategies that we can implement to mitigate some of these challenges, most especially in the build up to building different health solutions in Nigeria?
Okay. Okay. Let me talk about the challenges first. Right. Well, and in the organization I work in, our health is mostly in the rural areas of Nigeria. So, and most of the advanced technology has not gotten to that side. Most of them don't know how to use. Most of them, let me take it to the lowest of it. Most of them don't have a smartphone to get their location on. So most of them are using, everything is just this thing. So that challenge can go a long way in affecting the implementation of geospatial to get the location of, to get what exactly what we need in that to help the health sectors. Yes. The strategy that can be placed, I think there's, if we focus more, or if we focus more on enlightenment, that most rural people don't know most of what these things are. So we need to educate them. We need to let them know the usefulness of this particular thing in their life. We need to let them know that we're not come to scare them off. There was a time I went to Ekiti, and I was talking to some particular people about, it was even Google Map. I was telling them, and they're like, how you be using Google Map? You want to trust internet until you see yourself in where you don't want to be. And I'm like, you people don't know about this technology. These things have come to help us. It's not like a scary thing or the traditional something. So I feel enlightenment can help these people understand the use of what we need to do. I think that's all. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Enlightenment as a critical element to deepening the understanding of the application. I think that's an interesting perspective. Thanks a lot, following show fix. Okay, we also need to allow Oluwatomi to speak also, please, if you can help with that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, you're welcome. Tony.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for having us here. I think just on the top of my head, because I'm more of a program implementer, I manage programs. So like in terms of implementing, like an AI intervention or implementing an AI solution in the health sector, I think one thing that will come up from the top of my head would be the issue of getting political buy-in. And I think this really cuts across like most interventions that we have to do in different communities. You have to first get the support of the people at the policy level, the people who are actually like key stakeholders in that environment. And the example I think Faith was sharing about how community members actually still have bias in terms of using Google Map, to probably like make informed decisions in terms of their movement. It will surprise you that even policymakers, even the people that we hold in high esteem, they're expected to support the implementation of designs like this, also have their own personal bias to AI solutions, to solutions in terms of data. So if people like that don't even see the need for these things, if there's no political buy-in that should support the implementation of data like this, and AI solutions like this in the health sector, it might really limit the implementation of these solutions. I think another thing also would be the issue of quality of data. And in a way, I will still go back to what the question Emmanuel raised, in terms of the issue of internet penetration and smartphone penetration. I understand that, the satellite imagery, will actually give you, for both regions, but then we also know that the information that we can also get through the fact that these individuals actually own a smartphone. I don't think it's all information that the satellite imagery would give us. So in areas like the rural areas where most of, I feel like internet penetration in Nigeria is not even up to 50%, talk less of even the use of smartphones. So if we want to get information that is expected to help the whole nation, make informed health decision, and we don't, try to include the rural area, that means that we are not being inclusive, in our approach. So we really need to tackle existing problem, like existing tech problem generally that could hinder us from achieving our goals, such that at the end of the day, it's not like we are empowering just a particular location, over the other. I think one last thing I will talk about is the issue of sustainability. So like a lot of times, we have a lot of nice ideas, we have a lot of nice AI solutions, we want to do this, we want to do that. But then I think the question we need to always ask ourselves, when we propose solutions like this, is how sustainable is this solution going to last in this community? Do we just want to come and collect the data from this community and just go like that? But then are we willing to allow this our technology to stay with the community such that even after we leave, they can continue to use the services that we brought forward? Yeah, I think those are like the three things that I'll talk about. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. It's been an interesting conversation talking about sustainability of the approach and then the need for us to be more inclusive. When talking about the data generation itself. So it needs to be more inclusive, ensuring that at the local level, talking about the hyperlocal level are also considered. So which is a very interesting one today. So thanks a lot. We have some other responses on the chat. I'll just pick like maybe one or two. Someone said data access and availability are key challenges here. Okay. So they went further to say, even when the data is accessible, data formats, level of correctness and completeness are another challenge. So I think Tommy also mentioned something around that. So this is an interesting perspective. Okay, so I think we have one question here. So can information be gotten from the use of feature phone, like when they use USSD check balance, etc.? Yes, actually we have that. And our keynote speaker also mentioned something around that, which actually solves some of the problems around the internet issues. Because, you know, when people use their phone, even if you're on feature phones, your data are actually tracked. There's something we call the CDR, which is the core data record, or we call it core detail records, which kind of provide information at geospatial level as well, because they're also tracked. So they're also mapped to the geospatial to the spatial level. So we also take note of the geospatial information that are also extracted from that, which provides support to the current data available, the current data that we have available. And then now bringing that to the metadata, it's also, you see a lot of possibility that can actually be unlocked with those with the convergence. Thanks a lot. It's been an interesting conversation. I want to be sure that we've not missed out anything. We'll be picking some of your responses. They've been interesting. Thanks a lot. Let's have our next host, join now. So thanks so much to our stakeholders for this interesting engagement. Sorry, I don't want to miss the question of Dr. Shika. I don't know if Dr. Bao is still on the call. I would like to kind of speak to that. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. I think there are about two questions that have come through. First, the question from Dr. Chika, a very good friend of our work at DSN and a very strategic partner to our work at DSN. Indeed, I think like Abel mentioned, we might need to have further engagement around the specific intervention you are doing in northern Nigeria, so that we can establish the kind of data sets that can work or that are appropriate for that use case. But I can tell you that for the north, we have enough POI data, that's point of interest data, that has been collected and validated over time. Number two, for certain states in the north, we have some georeference data set of health facilities, including the traditional community, pharmacies, and what we call chemists, which is the patent and proprietary medicine vendors. We do have some of that. And then for the meta privacy preserving data, of course, is for entire Nigeria, and we can disaggregate accordingly for subnationals and get to understand the specific issues for the north. I believe that the team can take that forward after this meeting. On the other question around feature phones, the effectiveness of feature phones vis-a-vis Meta. So while we talk about Meta as a very viable, solid, relevant data for mobility, we do recognize that there may be some limitations. And that is why for any project like this, we advocate the practice of triangulation. What that means is I'm able to bring multiple data sets since all of them are unified by coordinates. So if I'm able to bring point of interest, core data record anonymize, and of course, link it to Meta privacy preserving data, satellite imageries, the various rasters, and all that, we can find a better view of what is possible. But I tell you, there's never a one size fits all. Intervention like these are proxy-based, things that we're trying to do to solve real problem by finding all the possible data that we can integrate, align to solve problems that are real in our community. Thank you, and over.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bayo, for throwing light to that question. And like he mentioned, we are available to provide more assistance and support to procuring such data sets after the session. Okay, so now we move to announcement of our quiz winners. So just give me a second. Okay, so for our winner announcement, we have for the quiz rather. So just quickly take announce the winners from the quiz before we proceed to the hackathon winners. So we have, I'll be reading from my phone. We have for the first question, which of these are types of spatial data? So the correct answer is vector and raster, and the winner for that is Adedoyin Jeremy. So before I proceed, I'd like to inform you that we've gotten your details, your contact details. So we will reach out to you for the modalities on how to get your prizes across to you. Okay. And then the second question, which says, what does GIS stand for? Okay, so the correct answer is Geographic Information System. And the person that got the question correctly, the answer correctly is Faith Folorosho. And then the next question says, which of these is not part of the categories of metadata for good data sets? And the correct answer is triangulated data. It means you were all paying attention. And the winner for that question is Victor Olanino. And then we have the next question, which says, okay, so we have a tie for this one. No. Okay, so moving on, which of the following cannot be represented by line vector data? So we have railways, health facilities, rivers, roads. The correct answer is health facilities. And the winner for that is the same Adedoyin Jeremy. So we have the last question. What is the website to download metadata for good data sets? So for all the formats of writing the website, the correct one is dataforgood.facebook.com, which is option C. And the person who got the correct answer is Patricia Idapo. Congratulations to our quiz winners. And like I mentioned, we will reach out to you to get your prizes across to you, which is our AI book for kids. Okay, so now we have to announce our winners. I hope we are excited for this. Just give me a second. So, okay, so without further ado, please confirm you can still see my screen because this is a very important moment.
Yes.
Okay, so the third place of the hackathon goes to Berde Benedict Obinna, and he built a solution around using geospatial data for easy access to health facilities through community engagement. Obinna, we believe you're on this call, so quickly unmute, enable your video, and in 2 minutes, 2 quick minutes, tell us what you did differently, what inspired you to build this solution. If you can give us, maybe 2 to 3 sentences. Obinna, are you on the call? Is he on the call? Okay, I don't think he's on. Can you drop a chat if you
just responded that he is, Chinazo. He's on the call.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay, that's Benedict.
Yeah,
okay. All right,
good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you need to be a bit more audible.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can work with that.
All right. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Yeah, so this solution was, I just made the solution to, I actually prepared the presentation, just a short presentation. Am I allowed to share my screen? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, you want to share your screen. Okay.
I was thinking I can do that.
Please, we need you to make it very quick so that we can accommodate others.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this solution actually, we know the health facilities faces a lot of challenges. Which one of the motivation was getting access to these facilities and knowing where these facilities are, knowing information about these facilities. We want to have a tailored solution that speaks to these facilities. We also want to have a solution. Hello, can you hear me? So we also want to have a solution that will be easy for decision makers to use, right? So we want to have the location of these facilities, the ideas about these facilities, and how some of these policymakers can use information maybe from a real-time dashboard to make decisions of where to locate new facilities, and people who are the areas of local government who are deprived from having near facilities or near health facilities closest to them. So the solution just includes first locating a nearby facility. You choose a location of, it takes your real-time location. We integrated data from grid tree to have all the mapped out health facilities with across Nigeria. Then you can actually use this to locate a closest facility that is actually close to you, and get the routing data for that facility to that facility, and also calculate the time. It will help you the time to get to that facility. So okay, it also allows an executive dashboard of these health facilities to to get some of the information based on the local government. You want to know the number of health facilities. You want to know which ones are actually functional, and which ones are not functional. So it allows you to have an overview of the total facility across Nigeria. So it also allows for community engagement through citizen reporting. We wanted to leverage how we can get users' feedback to help us do a QC check on the data that we already have. So we want to see if we visit an health facility, we configured a form where people could fill the feedback on that facility, and which will allow us to update the existing data we have already. The solution was built on using the tools that was displayed during the hackathon. We also use data from Retrieve. We use the population data also, and the Nigeria boundary data. So the feature of this solution, the solution is actually web-based. So we plan on having a mobile application which will be downloaded at the store. We also plan to integrate mobility data and actually real-time traffic data also. And also, we also want to look at integrating crowdsource and open source community data to ascertain, some of the real-time status, have, pictures of all these facilities and the type of facilities they have, or the type of asset they have within a particular health facility. So thank you very
much. Thank you so much, Benedict, for that session. Even though you overshoot your time, but you have a very interesting solution, and the effort you put into building that a robust solution. So thank you. And now we will move on to, okay, so let's see who our next winner is. Okay. Just give me a second so that we get, yes. Okay, so it's such a big deal for us because, like I said, this is a journey that started in November. So it's a big deal to unveil these winners for all their efforts and commitment. And so on that note, we have our next second place winner, and that's Patricia Ojonoka Idako. I hope I got your name correctly. And so she built a solution on speedy emergency care for victims of road traffic crashes in FCT Nigeria. Patricia, kindly unmute, enable your video, and please, in 2 minutes, summarize your solution. What inspired you to build your solution, and what did you do differently? You have the floor now, Patricia.
Okay. Can you see me? Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, good. Yeah, good afternoon.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It was really nice being in the training and learning all that the team had to teach us. My solution, can I share my screen, please?
Okay, yes, go ahead. Yes, you can, co-host, please go ahead. Please make it snappy too.
All right. Okay. Can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Okay, so if you live in FCT, you know that on a daily basis, you see accidents on the road. So when an opportunity came to create a solution that can solve health issues in our environment, in our community, I decided to work on the road accidents. And in my research, I realized that Abuja is, among all the states in FCT, Abuja has the highest number of road accidents. In the first quarter of 2022 and second quarter of 2022, you can see that the data number of road traffic accidents for Abuja is on the increase, and it has gone to the highest. Is the highest in all the states in Nigeria. So, and in responding to emergency, this is the map of the total incident cases for the period under review from the first quarter of 2021 to the second quarter of 2022. And the places with the dark spots, the states with dark spots, are the states that have the highest incidences of road traffic accidents. So Abuja has 6 local government areas. And in responding to road traffic accidents in Abuja, I noticed in my data that 70% of accident victims are carried to the hospital in private and commercial vehicles, while 25 are carried to the hospital in federal road safety vehicles. The federal road safety has an emergency response team called the Zebra team. And the Zebra team, there are 53 Zebra units across Nigeria. And of that 53, 11 of them are located in Abuja, in FCT. And based on local governments, we can see that 8 of the Zebra units are in Abuja local government area. Then Buhari, Abaji, and Kwali have 1 Zebra unit each, while Gogolada and Kuje have no Zebra units at all. And well, looking at this data on the graph that is in front of you, you can see that Abuja local government has the highest total cases, highest number of persons killed, highest number of persons injured. So it justifies the presence of 11 Zebra cases. Also looking at the mobility in FCT, using the Facebook mobility data, you can see that Abuja has an approximate mobility of minus, this is the value, it's not very, residents are not very active in Abuja, are not very mobile in Abuja. And so people are more mobile. Based on my data, I saw that people are more mobile on Tuesdays and on Fridays. And Sunday has a least, is the day with the least mobility. Then looking at FCT settlements, we can see that I used the FCT settlement map and then I created points for the Zebra unit in FCT. The points are the blue dots. on the map. And we can see that the road safety actually position the zebra units in densely populated areas of FCT. So using this settlement density buffer, I use a buffer of 10-kilometer radius to see the coverage of the zebra of each zebra unit. And you can see that not much of FCT is covered. So, and this is a picture of, this is a map of FCT health facilities, that is the green dots. So based on each coverage area of zebra unit, each coverage area has dots, enough health facilities. So obviously there are enough health facilities to attend to road traffic crash and victims in each of the zebra unit locations. Now looking at the FCT roads, the roads are the orange lines on the graph.
Patricia.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you short. We do
Okay,
not
my time
have
is up.
of time. Exactly. We've overshoot our time.
Okay.
So we have interesting solution, and anybody who wants to get to know more about your solution can contact you through us after the session. So thank you so much. And then we'll just move on to announce the winner. So you can stop sharing now. So that we can. Thank you. All right, so and our winner, they know themselves by now because we've announced the third and second place. But nonetheless, let's beat drum rolls for them. It's not easy. Yes, and the winner of the Hackathon Nigeria series is Team Space. Okay, so they are a team. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So they are a team and they worked as a team. So we will have the team lead. I want to believe he's on the call. Ajayomi, Adejoin, Samuel. Please make it snappy, 2 minutes. Tell us what inspired you. How did you inform your team to come up with this brilliant solution? Thank you. We can't hear you. Confirm that you have unmuted your mic. Is it just me or okay?
Okay, probably you should remove the earpiece and try to speak directly.
I think he has, from what I can see. He has removed it. You're muted. You're actually muted. And we still can't hear you. Okay, because of our time, we can't
a
hear
member
you.
of his team. Maybe a member of his team could take it up then.
If you have members of your team, can they drop messages in the chat window? Is anyone else from your team able to pick it up? Okay, we may have to, I don't know, it's unfortunate that your microphone is not in alignment with you today.
Okay, so there's a recommendation. Probably you should quickly rejoin the call if that could work. Though we're almost out of time.
Okay, yeah, so while you try to rejoin the call, we'll just move on to the next thing on the agenda. And then when you come back, we can just give you that opportunity to speak. And so we're going to have the next on our agenda is pictures. So I'm inviting my colleague and co-host Anu to organize how we're going to take pictures, just guide us on how we will take our pictures. Anu, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Chinazo, and good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thank you for being on the call for the past 2 hours. We're glad to have everyone join us for this wonderful event. Without taking much of our time, I don't know if we have all of our winners. I would love for us to start off with winners. Before we go, I would also love to have some of our stakeholders. Please kindly do all to turn on your videos. I'm sure everybody has a backdrop to love for you to turn on your videos. So our stakeholders and our winners, would love for you to turn on your videos. Let's just do that quickly because of our time. For waiting, thank you very much. Now, you do also turn on your videos so that we can have this big picture. Okay, so I think I'm still waiting for some of our stakeholders. Yes, let's turn on my videos. Okay, so 1 minute. So thank you very much for joining the session. For our stakeholders and our winners, we appreciate you. So let's do this. Cute. Yes, that's good. We have that. Then for the project team or everyone in the team, so you can also turn on the video. So let's have everyone, for people that have access to turn on their video also. Let's have everyone that can turn on their video. The project team, let's just have this picture. Yes, so and also do auto smile. Let's smile. It's a good picture. Let's take a good picture. Yes, thank you. And see if you're Chinazo. Let's just smile. Yes, for all of our participants also, we have your profile picture, so do not worry. I'm sure that we're going to have this shared group. Yes, thank you very much. So Chinazo, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Anu. Have we taken with stakeholders? Sorry, I must have missed that.
We have just stakeholders. That's very much possible. We have just the winners and stakeholders in their videos. So have that.
Okay.
Stakeholders only. And the project team.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining the event today. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to us that you took out time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate it. And on a closing note, just give us, okay. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. Okay, so before we even give a closing remark, I want to remind us of the prizes for the winners. So we have the first prize, 1,000 USD, US dollar, and then second prize is 750 US dollar, and then the third prize is 500 US dollar. So this is a reminder of the prizes, and we will communicate. We're already in communication, so our finance team will get in touch with you to discuss the modalities to get your prizes across to you. It is a well-deserved prize because you put in the effort. Okay, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. Your energy, enthusiasm, and contribution to this workshop have been truly remarkable. Even our stakeholders participated in the quiz. It's really a joy to have everyone on this call. Your presence and active participation made this a truly inclusive event. Special thanks to all our volunteers and solution reviewers as well. Some of them were not able to join this call, but we've had people who work behind the scene to make this whole project a success. We want to express our deep gratitude to the Africa Geoportal of ESRI for their unwavering support throughout this project. They were really supportive at every point in time in the life cycle, throughout the life cycle of this project. Their support for our hackathon participants with their platform and spatial data has been invaluable, and we could not have made this event a success without them. Lastly, we thank the Meta, formerly called Facebook, organization for its generous sponsorship. Its commitment to utilizing AI and geospatial technology to tackle public health issues is commendable, and we are grateful to have them on board. This workshop was just another tiny glimpse into the tremendous potential of meta mobility data in solving public health challenges. So lastly, I'd like to thank the DSN team. We have a full team working behind the scene, just few of us are, working in front of the scene, but we have a whole team who made it possible to put this whole project together. Our lead mentor, our executive director, all the staff, who work tirelessly to ensure that the flow of the project from learning, from building capacity, creating the learning content, to the hackathon and providing all the support, and to the workshops that we did in the different countries. And so this is me thanking the team for all their tireless efforts. Together, we have taken a big step towards creating a healthier and better world. Let's continue to work hand in hand to bring positive change and keep enhancing the lives of everyone with all the solutions we can build to solve some of our localized health issues. Thank you once again for your presence and participation. Do have a wonderful day ahead. Bye, everyone.